Okay, I'm so sorry. This has to be part 2. Going to add the color now, the new color. So we're going to add the blue to the pink, and we're just going to make a knot. I don't know what kind of knot it is. It really doesn't matter what you call it, but you're just making a knot. That's it. Then you take this. This is going to be in the back. It's going to face the back. The side you're working on, the side that's facing you, is the front. The side that the string, the extra yarn, is going to be sticking out of is the back. So you do this. Let's see. 1 and 2. And then you just go again. You got the corners. So you do the 6 in the corner, the 3, then the 2 loops, and then the 3 again. Yeah, the blue is a lot better for you to see, which is good. And I do apologize. 2. And then you go back into that same opening. Once you've done that, okay, you've got that corner, and then the 1. You've got that corner for this row. Then you see how in the middle it's different. It has just the 1 loop here. So you've got 1 space for this, which is going to allow it to grow, like I was saying in the saying before. You do the 3, but because it's just going to be 3 in this one, you're only going to do the 1 loop once you're done with the 3. 1 loop. Then you go into the corner. Go into the corner. And then you do the 2 loops. And then you go back to complete this corner. Then the 1 loop, so that you can go back into this middle. See, as you do this, your blanket grows, because each one in the middle spaces out even more. So now when we get to the next row, when you get to the next row, you've got 2 with just 3. You're going to have 2 with just a 3, and then the 1 loop on each side. Each time you go another row up, you have more of the 3s in the middle, for lack of better terms. And then you get to the corners, and you work your corners. And you do the 2. Oops, sorry. I miscounted. But that's why yarn is awesome. You can pull it out and fix and not have to start all over. So I got to do the 3 here. That's 2. And 3. All right. Then the 1. Then I'm going in the middle. There, then the 1, because I did the 3 in the middle. Now, make these corners. When you first start off, it's not going to be perfect at all, by any means. Practice makes perfect. And even then, you can always learn more to do things differently, find shortcuts. What I'm doing now is just showing you how to do it. In later videos, I'll show you other stitching ways. I'll show you shortcuts, things like that. But you got to know the foundation to be able to do something correctly, or it doesn't work. And that's in anything that you do in life. You have to have the right foundation. My supervisor told me something yesterday that was so profound, because normally he does not. He's like a really happy-go-lucky guy. He's a really awesome person. Like, as a human being, he's a really nice person. So whenever he says something profound, it draws my attention. It catches my attention. He said, if you build a house and the foundation is not solid, the house is going to fall. You're going to have so many problems first, and then the house collapses. To have a house be strong and firm and no issues, no problems, and it stays up the way it's supposed to. It doesn't cave, it doesn't fall, it doesn't destruct. The foundation has to be solid. So, in anything in life, even when you're learning something, your foundation has to be solid. Okay, so something did not work right. There it is. Okay. Your foundation has to be solid. And see, this is 3 rows now. This is the back, because this is where we've tied off the other color. This is where we have the blue connected to the pink. So that's the back. This gets cut when you're done with your blanket. Don't do it until you're done, because you never know. You might want to add a different color in between other colors, or you might think, oh, this doesn't look right, let me take this out and redo it. So don't do it, because then you lose some of the length that you need. Once you're finished with your blanket, then you go in and you fix it. So whenever I trim it down, I take about half of the length of whatever's hanging off. I cut that off, and then I just leave that up so I don't lose that spot. Then I take and I go right in between the previous row and then the loops here, and I grab them and I just tuck them. That's why I cut off half of the length, because then once they're tucked, you don't see them. So, see, if I had cut it, you wouldn't see it. This would be the back, though. This would be the front. But we have 3 rows just right here. I showed you how to make the corners. I showed you how to start, how to make the corners, how to grow, how to make sure it grows properly. Don't forget, the corners are 2 loops, 3. The middle stitches, the middle squares, are 1 loop, 3, 1 loop. And it keeps getting bigger, because the next row, it'll be here and here with 3. And then these, of course, the corners are always the 6 all together, but the 3, then 2 loops, then 3. But in the middle, they grow. And it's always 1 in between each square with the 3 inside each loop. I'm going to take this apart, because like I said a little earlier, I need that pink for a baby shower gift for someone. And see, when I make blankets, when I do granny squares, my granny squares are $2 a row, which I don't think is very bad. It's not expensive at all. There are people who want them the size of a, California king. So that's a lot of time. It's a lot of yarn. my very first intro, I told you all I had a couple of adult children. I got a couple of high schoolers. I got a middle schooler, and I have an elementary schooler. He's my bonus son, though. So I mean, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I just took that apart just now while I was talking to you. Believe me, it's not as hard as you think. It works wonderfully. It's a stress reliever, honestly. When I started crocheting again, because for a while I stopped after my kids. After I had my kids, I would make them each a blanket. But then after that, I stopped. I didn't want to be bothered anymore. I had too much to do. I was doing other things. But then I realized it's a stress reliever. I have high blood pressure, so I need anything that can help me relieve my stress. I'm not big on medicine. I do take the medicine that the doctor prescribed for me for my high blood pressure, though. That's important. When your doctor prescribes something for you and it's for your life, like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things like that, come on, hands down, no-brainer. You got to take it. But I'm trying to, with my doctor's approval, I'm trying to get off of the meds. So I crochet. And people started seeing me do it at work. They started placing orders. And, I do that. I do other things. I eat a little differently. I cut back on salt. And I even eat things I don't like. I hate cucumbers. I hate the smell. I hate the taste. I hate the texture. But I know cucumbers are one of the most used natural ways of getting your blood pressure under control. So I just tough it out. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to get a desired result. But I've gotten used to the taste, so I eat them. But crocheting helps while I'm at work. If I start feeling stressed, I pick up my needle. My hook. I grab my hook. I grab my yarn and whatever I'm working on. And I do what I'm supposed to do. I just make sure that everything is working properly because I have to stay here as long as I can. I got kids. I have a family. I have loved ones. I have extended family that I do love.